Hi and welcome to the Shaman Heirophant workshop and path working, where you will be meeting your inner teacher. This magical image emerged as a wise inner teacher, an archetype of a priest, shaman or wise old man. It is at this stage in your spiritual journey you must call forward your inner teacher to step forward and guide and act as an interpreter to the endless source of ancestral wisdom that lies within you. You are the product of generations that have gone before, and all of their wisdom runs through your veins. What we are dealing with here is the birth or rebirth of wisdom consciousness that you have somehow been disconnected from. After your path working and meeting with the inner teacher, you should learn to focus and listen to the guidance and instructions that you receive, journaling the thoughts and ideas that come to you as you learn to trust intuition and have the faculty of knowing as a reliable source of guidance. So, you can now stop looking outside for answers and realize that you have all the answers within. The significance of the character represented here will differ with each tarot artist based on their inner beliefs and culture. The title Heirophant in some tarot decks could suggest a connection to Christianity or Catholicism, but this archetype suggests a different stream of tradition. It's entirely focused on the emergence of wisdom from within the student rather than the seeking of an external teacher, and highlighting the importance of lessons that you can learn from nature as your teacher. The astrological connection is with the sign of Taurus, or the element of fixed earth. Think about the period in history when agriculture came into being and the hunter-gatherers who worked with the land, people who were down to earth, connected with nature, living in harmony with the planet and innately understanding seasons and cycles that we as a culture have become increasingly disconnected from in the advent of technology. It represents a very different culture from which we find ourselves in now. If you look on this archetype as a part of yourself that requires regular attention and treat it as you would any other human relationship, you can develop a conversation of sorts which will allow you to make decisions based solely on your innate wisdom. By visiting ancient sacred sites, places of worship associated with these times, there is much power and wisdom and knowledge in the land residing with its guardian spirits. Perhaps you might find yourself developing an interest in herb lore, preparations of potions and remedies, or beginning to research your own roots and traditions within your family. There is a great emphasis here on the need to spend much more time aligning with the natural world. and spend some time listening to the wisdom of all the great philosophers and sages who walked the earth before you. Is there a particular subject that interests you, but you haven't had the time to explore it until now? Are you drawn to a particular speaker or author? The Heirophant Shaman is the archetypical wise old sage who has travelled extensively and sought the external as well as the internal mysteries, presented here as an internal teacher or an inner teacher. The keys that can be found on lots of traditional images for the Hierophant suggest the ability to open a gate. The gate is the doorway to your own personal paradise. Institutions of learning are commonly found to be a consideration in life when this card appears in a reading, or that there may be a need for some spiritual guidance of one form or another. You could go so far to say that communion with this archetype offers the keys to understanding faith. The previous image of the god of the grove was very much focused upon the solar aspect of God consciousness, whereas this image is more aligned to the lunar cycles, agriculture, passage of the seasons, farming, animal husbandry, the land, ley energies, and the laying of foundations or building a belief system. One that is truly connected with Mother Earth, and that plays a part in building bridges or relationships between opposing forces. Words, poetry, ritual, ancestral heritage, initiation rites. These are all key phrases associated with this stage in the spiritual journey. So you can think of this archetype as representing the teacher, the system, and the way. Then the baby image that's on the back of my previous deck, the Soulscapes Tarot, becomes very significant as it magically gave birth to that particular set of images. At the time of creating the Soulscapes deck, I was just beginning to form a relationship with a newly awakened part of consciousness, which was the wisdom consciousness, accessing inner wisdom and inspiration. And during the process of birthing that inner guide, I was also researching and reading a lot about the Merlin of Britain. The Shaman Heirophant in this set of magical images was the last to emerge out of the whole series. So he acts as an overseer, and he has been my constant companion through the rest of the uncharted waters of the journey of teaching the initiate's way to others. You hold in your hands now the keys to unlock your inner nature from its cage or prison. Mythologically speaking, you release your Merlin from his enclosure. So I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask you before I go on to do the path working. Is there a particular spiritual tradition that you feel instinctively drawn to? Do you feel more comfortable taking part in group work, or do you like to work alone when it comes to religious or spiritual matters? What is your family or ancestral religion or spirituality, and are you actively engaged in it? So if you're not already, I would like you to get yourself into a comfortable seated position, preferably in a straight backed chair so that you won't fall asleep, or a meditation pose if that's your way of connecting. And I want you to focus your energy and attention within yourself. I want you to go deep inside yourself so that all the distractions around you fade away into the background as you begin your breathing. I would like you to breathe in and out to the count of 4. And remember to push your stomach out as you breathe in and let it fall as you breathe out. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Your body, once it is in this rhythm of breathing, will continue. Now that the mind chatter has subsided, I want you to imagine that you are walking through an old oak woodland. The scent of moist, damp earth fills your senses as you walk through these beautiful old trees. The breeze whispers through the branches as you walk along the path through the dense forest. you hear birds singing, and what sounds like a voice in the distance calling your name. The ground is hard underneath your feet, and the air is warm despite the breeze. You can hear the sound of cows braying in a field somewhere behind you. Ahead of you there is an opening in the trees, and you feel a pang of excitement because you've never seen this part of the woods before. As you stand in the gap of the trees, looking through a shaded tunnel of leaves, you can see a clearing beyond. Make your way towards the clearing. As you walk through the tunnel into this space, you notice that all sounds seem to vanish, and an unearthly silence closes in on you. You are surrounded by a circle of majestic, tall, grey stones. You walk into the middle of the stones and stop for a second to take in the deep blue of the cloudless sky above your head. This looks like the perfect place, and as you reach the center of the circle, you see that there is a seat roughly hewn from a large block of stone, and you sit down in it. You feel so calm and peaceful and serene in this place. Immerse yourself in the air. Feel the warmth of the sun and the feeling of the grass underneath your feet. The heat of the sun makes your body feel as if it is floating and sinking at the same time. Every single cell begins to release any stress and anxiety that it was carrying. It just dissolves with the sunshine against your skin. Call now to your wise inner guide and tell them that you are ready for them to come and speak to you. Take some time in this moment to listen to their guidance. When you're ready, I want you to come back to your body, to the room, and when I count to 3, you will be wide awake and in the room. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wide awake and in the room. And if you have a journal, write down anything that you experienced, any symbols, any signs, any creatures, anything that you saw. And before I go, I would like to read you a poem concerning the Merlin mysteries that I wrote during my first visit to northern France in 2011, when I spent a lot of time in meditation in the old oak forest near my parents' home. And it's called Wild Man of the Woods. I seek the wild man of the woods, wise man of the mound. I seek the wisdom of the serpent buried under the ground. My heart lies in Avalon and in days that are long gone. Whispers in ancient dreams and wisdom in 2 streams, the red and the green. The earth's blood I hear. Humanity has fallen into war on consciousness. Wicked men who seek to keep us in the dungeon of the unknown, from which there is no return. Answers and guidance I seek. Lead me to where I can see the door with the hidden key that bars the way for those who lie, their true nature withers and dies. Archetype of all that's wise, I do not fear the serpent or the fire within its eyes. An alchemical messenger brought me to the hidden observer, through the mirror, the looking glass that goes on forever, standing on the shoulders of giants in the land of the ancients. The forest speaks in tones and hues of evergreen. The noise radiates from without and within. A pulse, a frequency, a realm in its own right. Opens up before me as I seek in the twilight. A path stretches out, following a silver thread. Soft, gentle moonlight, the quicksilver and the lead, the cauldron of the self, ready to rebirth the phoenix, the lion and the eagle, and ride high upon their magic. I hope you enjoyed that, and until next time.